It is official. Sweden has joined the NATO. We now go live to Washington, D.C., where U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is currently meeting the Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson at the State Department. Let's listen in.
And we are here. This, of course, is also built on an extraordinary foundation of partnership between Sweden and NATO that goes back many, many years. Sweden's long been an active partner with NATO allies, training together, exercising together, working together. And fundamentally, the reason this is such a strong, powerful fit is because Sweden embodies and promotes the core values that are at the heart of NATO: democracy, liberty, the rule of law. And it also brings some unique capabilities to this enterprise, unique capabilities in the Arctic, the Baltic Seas. And this year, of course, Sweden will contribute more than 2% of its GDP to defense and continue to show the way for all NATO members. If you go back to 1949, at the signing of the NATO treaty, President Truman said this, and I quote, "In taking steps to prevent aggression against our own peoples, we have no purpose of aggression against other peoples. We hope to create a shield against aggression and the fear of aggression, a bulwark which will permit us to get on with the real business of government society, the business of achieving a fuller and happier life for all of our citizens." That is fundamentally what this enterprise is all about, what NATO is all about. It's making sure that together we are creating an environment in which our people are safe, secure, and can meet their full potential. Today, we have fortified this shield against aggression. We brought more people under its protection so that together we can focus on the real work of delivering for our people. With that, Mr. Prime Minister, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Secretary. Anthony, thank you so much. Today is a truly historic day. Sweden is now a member of NATO. We are deeply grateful for the overwhelming bipartisan congressional support for Sweden's accession and for the strong leadership from the US administration leading the way on ratification and security assurances. I would personally like to thank both President Biden and you, Secretary Blinken, for your invaluable efforts and personal commitments during the accession process. I would also like to thank all NATO allies who have supported our accession and welcoming Sweden as a 32nd member of the alliance. We are humble, but we are also proud. We will live up to high expectations from all NATO allies. United we stand. Unity and solidarity will be Sweden's guiding light as a NATO member. We will share burdens, responsibilities, and risks with other allies. Today is, as Secretary Blinken said, it's a victory for freedom today. Sweden has made a free, democratic, sovereign, and united choice to join NATO. There is an overwhelming support in our parliament and among our people. That is a strength, both for Sweden and for the alliance. And as a strong democracy, Sweden will stand for the values in the Washington Treaty, signed just a few blocks from here 75 years ago. Freedom, democracy, individual liberty, and the rule of law. Sweden is, as was mentioned, now leaving 200 years of neutrality and military non-alignment behind. It is a major step.
All right, that is the Swedish Prime Minister, Ulf Kristersson, giving a speech in Washington, D.C. after Sweden officially joined the NATO alliance. And before that, the U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, is the one who made the announcement of NATO joining, or of Sweden joining the NATO. Excuse me for that. Our correspondent, Susan Teherani, is joining us on phone. Susan, give us the latest development from this, because we understand that now Jens Stoltenberg will give a speech after the Swedish Prime Minister has spoken.
Yeah, you know, the membership is a huge geopolitical boost for NATO, Eric. Alliance members now almost encircle the Baltic Sea, with the exception of that narrow entry to St. Petersburg on the Gulf of Finland and the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad. So it makes life very difficult for Russia's Baltic Sea fleet on the one hand. It also gives the alliance the ability to monitor critical pipelines and cables beneath that surface as well. But Sweden is also a military power. Despite the population of only 10 million, it spent 1.54% of its GDP on defense. And, you know, after centuries of neutrality, it forced it to develop a world-class military-industrial complex, really. If you think about it, from Washington's point of view, this was important. The theatrics was important. It comes right before President Biden is to deliver that State of the Union address. The prolonged Russia war with Ukraine has been really an onus on the American people. And so, you know, this will sort of be something where the president can talk about, you know, a stronger NATO in the face of global threats, so to say, notably from Russia. So, you know, it really, since May of 2022, Sweden has been applying for NATO membership along with Finland as well. But now we see, you know, after some opposition from Hungary, Sweden is part of this alliance that I think will be, you know, something to talk about, not only here in Washington, but in European capitals as well.
All right, that is our correspondent Susan Teherani in New York. And if you're just joining us, the Swedish Prime Minister is in Washington, D.C., where Sweden has officially joined the NATO alliance. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.